Good morning, guys. Today we're going to be writing our second body paragraph. Before we get started, let's go over a couple of basic steps or a couple of basic notes that you need to go back to day one with. A couple of you guys have been caught by the plagiarism bug. Let's not do that. Ms. Rolsey is like kind of a stickler about that. On day one of the class, you guys all acknowledged the plagiarism kind of codex, that if you do it, you're going to be getting a 0 for the assignment. You're going to have to go back and redo it. I don't change grades for plagiarism. If you need a refresher on that, I can go over that with you in office hours. Please see me if you need help with writing. I don't mind helping you out with it. Don't steal other people's stuff. It's not cool. But let's get started for the day. If you need help with something, ask me. Don't steal someone else's writing. That's not fun. It's not fair to them. They work hard to produce their own work. Don't steal it. You wouldn't steal somebody else's money, so don't steal somebody else's writing. With that said, let's get started for the day. So today we're going to be working on body paragraph 2. So you should have already finished your introduction and your body paragraph 1. Today we're going to start on body paragraph 2. So let me screen share with you guys. Today you're going to need your essay open. You're also going to need your note cards open if you don't already have that. If you need your outline open, go ahead and grab that. And let's get started. I'm going to screen share with you guys so that you can see what I'm working on and kind of mirror that with your own screen. I'm going to again go ahead and pause my video whenever I'm writing so that you can go ahead and write with yourself. And that way you're not having to watch me write and just be looking at a blank screen or having that idle time with me. So I'm going to go ahead and start writing. I will have those notes on the side of the screen like I have here for my body paragraph 1 so that you guys can see what it is that I have on my screen. And I will be publishing my work inside the Schoology page so that you can see it updated in real time as well. All right, so my first sentence that I'm going to have in my body paragraph 2 is going to be exactly the same as like body paragraph 1. I'm going to start off with my topic sentence, and I'm going to have that be, I'm going to tell the reader what this paragraph is going to be about. It can be 1 or 2 sentences depending on my particular writing style. It's not going to be super wordy or lengthy. I'm just going to have a very brief sentence. It's going to be just a brief overview of what this paragraph is going to be about. And I have right up here my key points written on the page so that I don't lose what I'm going to be writing about. And that is, was Woodstock really that awesome? Let's address its downfalls. So I'm going to go ahead and write my key points to topic sentence. I'm going to pause the video. When we come back, my topic sentence will be on the paper. You can go ahead and write your topic sentence while I'm doing this. We'll come back, we will confer. We'll go ahead and write the next sentence together when we talk about it, and then we'll get back with each other. All right, let's go ahead and do that. So for my topic sentence, I have the rock and roll shock factor was not left at the gate, so to speak, in 1969. This helps to connect to my topic by saying that my party goers or my concert goers, they did not leave their antics at the door. They brought everything that they would normally bring into a concert with them to Woodstock. They did not just bring their peaceful ways with them to the gate. They brought in that full-fledged rock and roll shock factor with them. So my next sentence, let me put in my little comment here. section 1. For my body paragraphs, I'm going to start calling them sections because depending on your writer style, it might take you more than one sentence to kind of fill them out. So I'm going to start calling them sections. One, two, sentence. Topic sentence. Tell the reader what the paragraph out. Topic sentence tells the reader what the paragraph will be about in 1 to 2 sentences, depending on writer style. Perfect. Okay, now our next section will be a very brief narrative and context. You are going to assume that while your reader is very smart and that they deserve to read your paper, they may not know a whole lot about this particular topic and how it addresses your invention or your history or historical events. So you're going to include 1 to 2 who, what, why, as to why this particular key point is still relevant to your topic. So I need to tell you guys why this particular issue is still relevant to Woodstock. I need to tell you why the downfalls are still relevant to Woodstock. So I'm going to go in there and tell in 1 to 2 sentences why the downfalls are still relevant to Woodstock or concerts. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to pause, I'm going to write, then I'm going to come back. Okay, so I now have my very brief narrative context for my section 2, and where I tell people a little bit about why this, who, what, why this is still a bit relevant to people, or why this is still relevant to this particular key point of, was Woodstock really that awesome? And I'm addressing its downfalls. What people want to remember as a peaceful and fun-loving weekend was more likely to be described as a filthy wasteland of literal manure. Only concert goers weren't just strolling around in fields of cow patties. So let me write down this comment. Section 2. Brief narrative for context. The reader is to just don't have a whole lot detail on the topic. Include 1 to 2 cents on the who, what, why this event is to your okay. So our next section is the quote. So you're going to go up to your note cards. I already have mine pulled up, and I've already found the 2 particular quotes that I'm going to be using inside this paragraph. And as you'll notice, I already have them situated the way that I want to be using them. I have them already consolidated from, I had this gigantic paragraph on my fact card 20, and I already have it situated to where I know where I'm going next. I know that I'm going to use fact card 20, and then I'm going to go to using fact card 16 afterwards in my next quote section. So I have this copied and we're ready to go. Copy. and the copy is Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac. So I have that copied. I'm going to go back over to my paper, and it's author Bernstein. So I'm going to introduce my quote, then I'm going to paste it, and then I'm going to cite my author so that I'm not plagiarizing. No plagiarism. Thank you. So give me 1 second while I get that written, and I'm going to pause, write, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so I now have my quote on my paper, and it's introduced properly and highlighted in the matching color for my note card. So I have Jacob Bernstein presents evidence that the rain, the mud, the food and water shortages, and the brown acid circulating throughout the crowd sent many to the makeshift infirmary. It was hot and uncomfortable. There was no sanitation. People were sick. Okay, so I have my quote, and here is the lead-in or the introduction, presents evidence that, here's the quote, the rain, the mud, people were sick, all the way through here. Here's my quote, all the way through there. Okay, and here's my citation. You'll notice that it's at the beginning. Okay, I'm giving my author credit right here. Perfect. Instead of doing it at the end. If I wanted to do it at the end, I could. However, it sounds better at the beginning, at the forefront. Okay. So I have all 3 parts of my quote. Now I need to tell you what I've done. So right here, I need to section 3. Introduce. And now I'm going to go afterwards and I'm going to analyze my quote. So I'm going to go right now and make my section 4, and I'm going to analyze my quote, what I just said. I need to put in at least twice what I had for my quote. So I need to have my analysis be at least twice as long as what my quote was. I'm going to go write that, and then I will be right back. So go ahead, go write your analysis, and then return back. Okay, so I have completed my analysis for my first quote in this paragraph. So it reads, this exemplifies the notion that no amount of planning could have prepared the event organizers for the overcrowding situation. The event was a disaster because of the wrongful actions taken by the concert goers and their lack of responsibility and concern for those around them. One could argue the explanation for this would be the correlation in age and immaturity of the people, or the rampant usage of drugs at the festival. So I have this whole section, these 3 sentences. That is my analysis for that one quote. But you'll notice how I've got the length is about double for that one quote. So this section is going to be my section 4. Section 4, analysis. Analyze the quote. Explain the significance of this quote to your paper. Of all the quotes, why does this one further your point? How does it help? Excellent. So right now, you're going to go ahead and repeat section 3 and then 4 one more time. So you're going to add your second quote for the paragraph, and then you're going to analyze it. So we're going to go ahead and repeat that quote and analysis again. Go ahead, take that, do it again. So this is going to be a longer pause, and then we're going to reconvene. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, while I'm writing this particular quote, I wanted to go up here and show you one of the handouts that I made for today. It's called Introduce a Quote, and I wanted to show you how I'm using it. So instead of using like the same 2 ways to introduce a quote, that's like this person presents evidence that da 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 da, or according to the article, blah, 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 blah. There are many, many ways to introduce a quote. So I made a little bitty handout that kind of shows you several different ways to introduce a quote so that you don't say the same thing over and over and over in your paper and sound a little bit repetitive. So I made this handout, and there are many ways to introduce a quote. Here are some so that you're not just vomiting your facts onto the paper. And it will also prevent you from using some of those phrases repeatedly. Now you will need to plug in your own author or article names. So you might say your author notes that, and then you will put your quotation right here. You might say your author reports that, da, da, da. And you'll notice that I've put the verb in the bolded portion. And then I have some examples that you can use right down here. Okay, and yes, I did pull factual quotes, such as, when talking about love, Taylor Swift explains that when growing up, she liked fairy tales because the bad guy was easy to spot. As an adult, however, we realize the bad guy is not wearing a black cape, and he's not easy to spot. He's really funny, and he makes you laugh, and he has perfect hair. Or, in analysis of William Shakespeare's Macbeth, the author explains Macbeth is about the constant struggle between life and death. From author Manbrook. Newsleader CNN reports that many healthcare providers may hold back available doses of the COVID-19 vaccine in their February 1st, 2021 post by author Klein. Lisa Raspers France, author of Dustin Diamond, Saved by the Bell star, died at 44, observed the notion that Diamond died Monday after a cancer diagnosis, but notes that Diamond was known to use narcotics and it hasn't been ruled out as an overdose or suicide. So you will see that we have our author, we have our article, and we have the actual verb, observes. Then we have the quote, and then we have more of the quote, okay? So there's lots of different ways to introduce than just according to, or this person says that or states that. There's lots of different ways that you can use those verbs to give information or introduce information. So I'm going to put this into the Schoology page so that you have access to it. This is not a conclusive list. There are many ways. If you want to look up different ways to introduce a quote, go into Google, type how to I introduce a quote research paper. You will pop up with lots of different ways. You will get a list of phrases to use. Just do it properly. Okay, so we're going to go back in. I'm going to introduce my quote, my second quote. Let's pause. Thanks. Okay, so I have my section 5 created. That's the quote. The article, Surviving Woodstock, suggests the festival was honestly a colossal mess. This teenage event constituted anarchy and primitive tribalism. And I have right here the citation, shoe, and it's highlighted orange because that correlates with my note cards. Perfect. And I have it labeled section 5. It's quoted. I introduced it, quoted it, and cited it. The article, Surviving Woodstock, that is my part of my citation. Suggests that the festival was honestly, that is the introduction suggesting. And here is the particular quote. A colossal mess. This teenage event constituted anarchy and primitive tribalism. And here's my citation. Shoot. Then I have afterwards my analysis. Okay, this is section 6. Section 6. to here, right here. Analyze the quote. Explain the significance of this quote to your paper. Of all the quotes, why does this one further your point? How does this help? While I can't say I agree 100%, I can't say that I disagree. The people in the crowd acted childishly and had little regard for each other, so much that they killed a few people in their attempts to have a good time. No one's safety or well-being should be neglected for the sake of having a weekend to remember. Okay, so after I have analyzed that quote, which I did, I'm going to go into my transition. This is the final section of this particular paragraph. This is where I'm going to connect the dots to my next topic or key point to be discussed in the paper. Now my key point 3 is going to be, I have it written down. Give me 2 seconds while I'm still, flip my page. My key point 3 is going to be what happened at Woodstock 1999 that was so different than Woodstock 1969. So I need to transition into that particular key point. I'm going to put it on my paper so that I have a collection of what I'm going to have going forward. KP 3. What happened at so different from. So now I can successfully write my transition sentence, which is going to be my final section. Please remember that your transition sentence is always going to be one sentence, a singular sentence that seamlessly takes your second point to your third point. It's going to be one solitary sentence that just eases you into your next point. So I'm going to write that. We're going to reconvene, and I'm going to pause. All right, so I have my transition sentence. Issues abound that didn't prevent the legend of Woodstock from resurfacing in its 30-year anniversary. Let me get my section 7 on the paper. Section 7, transition. Transition. Transition by connecting dots to the next topic or key point to be discussed in the paper. Lovely. Okay. So now I'm going to remove my key point placeholder. Get rid of this. Tab one time so that you have an indentation. Make sure that your 2 citations are the correct color that correlate to your note cards. I'm going to go over to my note cards and turn the backdrops red so that I know not to use them again. I used note card 16 and 20 for my personal usage. I know to turn them red so that I don't use them again. And that's it. Now I know that I'm going to begin working on KP3 whenever I resume back with you guys on my next page. So my next body, I'm going to be working on KP3, and that's what happened at Woodstock 1999 that was so different from 1969. I'm going to leave all these comments here so that you guys can see that for when I come into my paper next time. And next time we'll have body paragraph 3. The following class will have body paragraph 4 and the conclusion. After that, we will work on the bibliography together. And then you guys will have a brief editing session. And after that, you guys will turn in your papers. You guys are doing so well, and I'm very, very proud of you. I hope that you guys are learning lots. I hope that you're getting so much done on your pages. You guys are making great headway. I'm loving reading what you've gotten done. If you have questions, please come to see me in office hours. If you want help writing, let me know. So far, you should have 4 quotes in your paper. By next class, you will have 6 quotes. By the end of your paper, you will have 8 quotes in your paper. You are doing a phenomenal job. And I'm so, so proud of you. Thank you so much. If you have questions, let me know. Bye.